special guests before we bring out Brent Spiner, LeVar Burton, and Jerry Ryan. Please welcome the mayor of Houston, Texas, Mayor Sylvester Turner. Come on out.
For those who are not from the city of Houston, I just want to welcome you all to the city of Houston. For those who are from the city of Houston, this is how we do it in H-Town. This is the 10th year, but in the last 5 years, this event, the attendance has quadrupled. There are well over now 50 celebrities that have come from all over to come right here to the city of Houston. You've seen some, we'll see some others. But to have LeVar Burton here and Jerry Ryan and Tom Hollins, the list goes on and on and on. This is the largest event of this kind in the Southwest, Southeast. And I'm so very, very proud of that. So look, enjoy yourselves, enjoy all of the entertainment. Quite frankly, with everything that Houston has gone through over the last 8 months, we can certainly use this and then send a lot of good vibes for the Houston Rockets as they play Golden State later on.
You know, when they ask me, do I want to be part of the Star Trek panel, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it's like anybody who's ever listened to our show. I'm on the Rule and Ryan show, by the way, on KRVE. And to me, like, Star Trek was always a source of comfort to me. You know, it's been with me since I was a small child, through high school, through college, through adulthood. And it's just always been a special, special thing to me. And no matter how bad I was feeling, it was always a comfort I could go to. So enough about me. You guys are ready, right? Let's bring them out one at a time. First, from Star Trek The Next Generation, Mr. Brent Spiner.
Thank you, sir. You guys in the back up there, I'll like you. Thank you. Well, thanks so much, everyone. I'm so happy to be here in, where am I?
You went to school here?
My hometown. Born and raised, love it. I really do love it. But has anybody in this auditorium, did anyone ever go to, in their lives, the Bluebonnet Gardens on Fannin? Yeah! You did not, you liar. All right, I'm going to introduce someone I know quite well. Who is he? Yeah, my buddy, my friend, you know him, you love him. He's new, he's now, he's pop, he's what's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, LeVar Burton! My friends and family up there in the empty seats. Yeah.
How about we bring out some gorgeous?
Fine with me. God knows. You do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Here she is.
The one, the only. You know her as 7 of 9. I know her, yes, I know her as the future ex-Mrs. Burton. Jerry Ryan!
Thank you all for being here. First of all, I mean, it is a Star Trek family. I mean, you guys are from different shows.
Different parents.
Different parents.
Well, that we know of.
Besides conventions, do you cross paths ever?
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we follow each other on social media, and we keep in
Yeah.
touch. And
Now, Jerry, Brent caught us backstage. I was whispering to you something. He has no idea. He was actually, and LeVar, you're actually involved in this too, because years ago, I'm the biggest Star Trek fan on the planet. Somehow this kid from Houston, Texas, BS'd his way to a producer in LA and like, can I have an extra part on Enterprise? So I got to fly out and be an extra on the show, and it was the episode where you were
On Enterprise.
on Enterprise. And LeVar, you were actually showing up afterwards because you were getting ready to direct the next episode.
I see.
And it was really funny because I was talking to Brent, and he was, by the way, what you see on stage is what you get. The nicest man I think I've ever met, you know, because I was probably driving you nuts with questions.
Ever. Yes.
He's so nice. But I asked you a question, I'm like, I was like, you know, did you ever experience something where, you know, somebody asked you an episode, a question, and you're like, oh, I've never seen a single episode in my life. You said, I never watched that. You know, it's like you work on it all this time, and you get home, you don't want to watch Star Trek. And then I told the story a couple of years ago, Patrick Stewart, we had him on this stage, and in his voice, it's, well, tell Brett he's quite full of shit. So, true or false, do any of you ever watch, you know, old episodes?
oh, now?
Yeah, just it comes on cable, it's late at night.
No, you know what? The truth is, I've seen about 10 episodes. The first 10, and then I realized I know what happens. Why am I watching this? I watched something I've never seen before. But you know what? Apropos of that meeting we had, I have to tell you, in all sincerity, I have no memory of you whatsoever.
Okay.
Nicest guy in the world.
Or because I mean, here I was dressed up like a Denobulan, and I had all this makeup on, and I'm
No wonder I don't recognize
fanboying
you.
him like nonstop, and he's just been so gracious, and then you were too, the LeVar, because you were walking down the hallway, and I said hello, and you were just so pleasant, and it's surprising how wonderfully nice everybody is on that show. Was there ever any instance for any three of you where you're like, wow, I can't believe somebody's not behaving well, or any kind of tantrums, or any kind of like bad behavior that you witnessed?
Well, Patrick was mean. That's all. I don't want to elaborate.
We're moving along.
Enough said.
So all of you worked with a series of guest stars, one by one. Each one of you share with us like a guest star that you loved working with. You're like, oh, this was so fun. It's such a memorable thing to shoot.
We really did have great guest stars. I just don't remember any of them.
I know people's names. Well, one thing that I loved working, and I have no idea what episode it was. I have no idea. I don't even remember what alien species he was supposed to be. But he's a dear friend of mine, and he was Hugh Borg on your show, wasn't it on your show? Johnny DeLarco, and so we're dear friends, and for years. And he guest starred on Voyager one time, and that was fun to get to play with him.
And I guess, Jerry, can you take the next question? How did you come about being cast? Because when Star Trek Voyager began, there was no 7 of 9 in the early seasons. So how did you find out about this? Take us through, like, landing the part.
So yeah, it was going. The characters began at the beginning of season 4, and you know, the audition comes down the pike, and I said no, I'm going to pass because I'd never watched Star Trek. I didn't really know much about it, other than sort of the reputation for actors kind of getting pigeonholed, and that's the only thing that they are known for, or whatever. I don't know. I was just nervous about it, and I didn't see this material. I didn't read them. I just said no, I don't think so. And so I passed on it a few times, and then the agent or the casting person called my agent and said she really needs to look at this. I really think she should read this. And they had 2 scenes, one of which was, you know, the now infamous "Harry Kim, take off your clothes" scene, which I hate because it was so on the nose and so easy. And the other one, which of course we never shot, was one of the most beautifully written scenes I've ever had for any audition ever in my entire career to this day. And it was a scene of, I think it was Seven and Chakotay or somebody, but of Seven having her first memory of laughter. And my son was like 2 at the time, and so I could use him as my sort of model for this character, because he's discovering all this stuff, and so she's rediscovering it. And so from that scene, I saw the potential of what this character could be, and I went in and I read, and then they wanted to make the test deal, and so I was supposed to do my screen test the next day, and Voyager happened to be on that night. And my mom and I were sitting there, and I said, well, I should probably watch it. You know, potentially signing away, 4 years of my life to do this. And it was the worst hour of television I ever sat through. Like, I literally was watching it through my fingers and weeping. And so I called my agent right after the show was over, and I said, I'm not going to cancel it. And Rick Berman called me at my apartment the next day and said, so I understand you have some reservations. I was like, And to his credit, he had me come in and said, come in and we'll sit down, the 3 executive producers at the time, and we'll answer all your questions and talk me off the ledge, basically. And so I got in there, and at this point, I had no interest in doing it, so I had nothing to lose. I was like, well, I watched it last night, and they went, oh God, no, not that episode. So I don't know what episode that was either, but apparently they knew it was bad. And they were great, and they really sat there and answered all my questions and assured me, and to their credit, it was not BS. They lived up to everything that they promised me they would do with this character. And so I did it.
Great. Now, LeVar, what about you? So let's go back. It's 1986 when they announced that they were going to do a Star Trek: The Next Generation.